This is Show Up as a Leader, a show from PeopleForward Network, helping you maximize your positive impact on the world by becoming your best, fully authentic self. Hey everyone, it's Rosie. I am super excited to have KL Shaw, expert salary negotiator and career strategist, launch a new series on the podcast called The Career Bump. In this series, KL offers your ultimate guide to show up as a leader by stepping into your power, getting in the driver's seat, and making moves that matter in your career. She describes it as she is going to be your career roadie. Lots of great stuff in her series. Take a listen. All right, my powerhouse friend, KL, I am super, super jazzed to have this conversation and introduce you to our Show Up as a Leader community and to have you be one of our new content partners. I'm just like, it's such a missing link. So just thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation to be part of this incredible community and add another layer on for perspective to help your audience show up as the best versions of themselves. I'm thrilled.
Oh, yeah, me too. And for everybody listening, I'm going to have KL tell her story in a moment. But why I'm so excited is we've had such great content partners and we've been super blessed of just how well-rounded the feed on this show is and the various different facets of what it means to show up as a leader in our life, personally, professionally, whether we have the title or not. And why I'm so excited about you in particular is we talk about a lot of different facets of leadership. And we spend a lot of our life at work, and so many people kind of get in the back seat. They're not, or maybe they're in the trunk. They're not even in the driver's seat of their career. They're at the mercy, or so they think, of whatever their organization is going to throw at them. They end up kind of being caught up in the winds, if you will, rather than really looking at, well, what can I do? Like we get stuck in feeling like we're in that sphere of what I can't control. And so we just get complacent and we get apathetic. And you have a very, very different approach. And I think for everyone listening, you have such a great way and such awesome tools that I know you're going to talk about in a moment for people to get in that driver's seat in their career and to stop just accepting and taking what is, but really be more thoughtful about it. And I think we're not having those types of conversations on the other aspects. And it's a key part of us maximizing our positive impact. It's a key part of us because work is a huge part of our life. So I just think you're filling a really key gap that I didn't know we had until we met. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so aligned. So yay.
I love it. Yeah. No, I think you're right. A lot of people do take a back seat. They expect that their boss will let them know or their boss will just promote them. But it all starts with you, just like everything in life. We are usually our own worst enemy. We get in our own way. And the goal of what I've created is to help people truly take the wheel. And the work that we do and the things that we're going to talk about are going to impact their life, not just their career. But you are not wrong. We spend a tremendous amount of our lives at work. And for people that say, oh, it's 9 to 5, I just punch the clock and I go home and I forget about it. That is not ever the case. You cannot flip a switch and just pretend that the politics and the nonsense and the things that are going on at work are not impacting you in all aspects of your life. That's not reality. So the sooner we can help you find a fulfilling job that helps light your fire and taps into the things that you love, that you're really good at and how you want to make an impact on the world, that is the sweet spot. And then we also get you the money to go along with it. So I am also a salary negotiation expert, and that is my sweet spot of helping people match both of those two things, because often people think that I can have the fulfilling job, but I can't have the money to match, or I can have the money and not the fulfilling job. And my role is to help you get both.
I love that it's a both and not an either or, because I can think of so many people I know, and I get it, like that we chase the dollars. Like, you know what, my situation in my life, I need to make more money, or I want to make more money, or whatever it is. And so we feel like, we have to leave our organization for that to happen, because either we don't know how to advocate, or, we just get frustrated because our boss isn't advocating for us, which again, it may not happen. or we chase the dollar, but then it's really not what we want to do. And then we hear so often the golden handcuffs, and then people are miserable. And so I love that you're going to talk about both. But before we get into all of that, to introduce you to our listeners, let's just talk about you. Like, tell us about you, your story, how you got to doing what you're doing, and how that is going to shape the series and the awesomeness that you're going to bring to show up as a leader.
Thank you so much. So, yeah, I got here by saying yes to every single opportunity that came my way. I was always super hungry. I like to hope and think that I was humble and ask some of the people around me, hopefully that they would say that. And smart in the sense of I just wanted to do really good work. And I always believed that the money would come if I did good work. And to an extent, it did. I started out selling cars to pay for college, and you're going to get a lot of nerdy car references because I am a car nerd. I ride a Harley. So it's taking the wheel and getting in the driver's seat and navigating roadblocks and potholes and rearview mirror. Those are just something that the audience is going to hear a lot of. I'm absolutely obsessed with the industry.
So she's a gearhead, people. Let's go. I love it.
I am a gearhead. Yeah. And actually, that's such an industry that is so ripe for disruption because women, I think, are 85% of the buying power on paper. And unfortunately, they're not selling to women. They're not even marketing to women. But that's another story for another day. So I was always in a commission role, and I earned the money that I put into it. And so when I got to the corporate stage, I had no idea, number one, that I could negotiate my salary. Number two, even if I did know that I could, I wouldn't have known how. And I heard the noise that women are terrible negotiators. And so I walked into this corporate space and I spent 20 years not truly knowing how the finances worked on the back end or what the total comp picture looked like beyond salary until I moved into an HR function. So at BMW, which is where I spent a very good chunk of my career, BMW, when they had high potentials, I don't know if that's changed since I left, but they would just sort of throw you into the deep end and say, good luck. We think you're really good. Now let's see how you can navigate new situations without any, real support. So fortunately, I swam and didn't sink, but it was moving into HR when I literally didn't even know how to spell it that I recognized now what that whole picture looked like from a compensation perspective. I understood for that decade that I worked in HR and watched and learned from the thousands of people that I interviewed and helped develop careers with, and saw really poor negotiation as a result of the thousands of offers that I made. So I took mad notes and I created what now is the Salary Bump, which is the company that I launched early 2024 to help people get in the driver's seat of their career and negotiate in a way that is a win-win. So a lot of people look at negotiation as a win. There's a winner and a loser. I watched enough lawyer movies in my day that was all I knew about negotiation. And so what I've created is something where you're getting in the driver's seat. I'm loading your lips so that you can have really nice, thoughtful, strategic conversations around my career that's fulfilling and that I can get the money to match. So yeah, I just sort of fell into the negotiation aspect. And then 2 times in my career, I doubled my salary or doubled my comp package. And it was at that moment the light bulb went off and I said, oh gosh, there is such a need out there for this. Statistically, less than 50% of people negotiate, less than 30% of women negotiate. It is a massive, massive need. And I just said, listen, I want to make an impact on the world. And my way to do that is by helping to close the gender and racial pay gap. Although I don't only work with women, it's what I've created and it's what I'm bringing to you and your audience.
I love it. It's funny because I think back when my very first consultant role before I launched my own company, right? You have to learn how to consult elsewhere and get burned out and everything. And I remember doing, I can't remember what it was. It was one of those salary services online, and you're trying to trying to get data to try to find something remotely comparable to go in. And I think I was like looking at like a $15,000 raise. And I remember just feeling sick to my stomach and all this stuff. And I probably screwed it up. I'm the worst negotiator on in the planet. So I think back like, oh my gosh, that would have been so helpful. But you even think about, I love that you say it's a win-win and not a win-lose, because I think so often people feel crappy at the end. Like either the organization feels like, ooh, like they got one over on that person because now they have room. They don't want to bring them in at the top of the pay scale because where are they going to go? Or the person feels like they, gave up too soon or whatever. And you want it to be a hell yes for both parties. You want the person, whether you're new to a role or whether you're trying to elevate your career or your compensation, that you feel really, really good and valued at the end of the day, right? Because obviously, to your point, I love it. You look at total comp, it's more than just salary, but that you feel valued and you feel invested in, because that breeds engagement and loyalty and a positive employee experience. And the list goes on and on. And at the same time, you want the organization to not feel like either they got one over on you or to feel you owe them something, or that again, there's some power differential. You want them to feel really good about, we have awesome talent. We have a person here that they feel good, so we feel good. And we know as a result, there is going to be some really great outcomes and some good work and some good opportunities to support our purpose and further our growth. And the list goes on and on. And it's so not looked at that way. It is a battle, and it's harder than it needs to be. And so I love that you started with negotiations, and obviously so let's talk about your series, because we're going beyond the salary bump, which is amazing and awesome in and of itself. And we're taking it to the next level with the career bump, because salary is a big part, but really looking beyond that. So talk a little bit about what listeners can expect and what the career bump is going to entail for them each month as you unveil bit by bit your secret sauce, if you will, to help make the impact you want to have and help our listeners have the fulfillment they want to have.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Okay, so the podcast really is for anyone who feels stuck, undervalued, unsure about their next step. And it's really about giving people the roadmap to step into their worth. And obviously navigate all the twists and turns, because nothing is a straight line. There is so many roadblocks and potholes, and looking in the rearview mirror, spending too much time in the rearview mirror, maybe too much time listening to the passengers. And really, how do I just block the noise and focus on where I want to go? Things like, how do I build and nurture a network? Being thoughtful about how you show up every day, and not just in those networking meetings, but knowing that people are watching you and what is the impression that you want them walking away with. We're going to share inspiring stories. We're going to share actionable strategies. We're going to talk about the messy middle of career growth. We're going to talk about the hard, the ugly, the great, how to navigate through the muck. And it'll be a mix really of inspiration and practical advice from me and a few other bold leaders, and maybe even some everyday people who are navigating their career just like you.
I love that. Yeah, there's gonna be a mix of everything. So let's give a little, I don't know, teaser, little preview when you're working, because you do a lot of individual coaching. You also have programs that people can purchase. But talk about, like, what is one of the biggest misconceptions or biggest challenges or areas of stuckness that you see with people, and what's something that helps them move beyond it, just to give listeners a little bit of a taste, if you will.
Okay. Well, first of all, what I've learned is that the biggest roadblocks in our careers aren't the external challenges. They're the stories we tell ourselves about why we can't move forward, about what's getting in our way, about the things that I don't have. So we're going to start there, because it starts with mindset and how do we shift those stories and truly step into your value to make the moves that are maybe bold for you and maybe not bold for others, but making the moves even when fear might be in the passenger seat today.
Oh my God. Okay. So we just have to stop right there. Like, I had no idea you were going to say this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is music to my ears, because I'm paraphrasing. But if you're feeling stuck, listener, at any way, shape, or form, of any level of your career, this is the cringy part. You got to look in the mirror. because we are our own worst enemy. And I will tell you, in all the work we do, and we're releasing our research as well, that's so true. And that's why I ask all my guests, what is a self-limiting story they tell themselves? So I love that you just went right there, because I think, yes, we're going to get practical advice, but like, if we're going to show up as a leader in our life, we got to do work on ourselves. So I love that you're starting there, because as human beings, God love us. We are messy creatures, but we are our own worst enemy. And it's so much easier to sit and blame our boss, blame the economy. We just sit and like, let's just deflect blame rather than going, what role am I playing? Doesn't mean I'm the soul, but like, I'm a contributor. And what am I not taking responsibility for? Or what narrative, what head trash is holding me back? So I love that you are starting there, because that just even furthers the alignment of everything we're about on the show. So I just like, yay.
Oh, isn't it so nice when it works out that way? Yeah, no, you didn't know I was going to say that. But it is truly fear is the block from everything in life. And most of my clients will tell me, number one, where have you been my whole life? And, they really think, and I said the same thing. I don't know where was I my first 20 years of my career. But the truth is, you don't need a perfect plan to start anything. It just starts with the first step. What did you do when you first learned how to drive? You held the wheel. You have a gas pedal. You have a brake, and somebody told you, okay, put your foot on the gas, put your foot on the brake, and it was quite intuitive. So I think some of it is once we can knock fear out of the way and start to identify, okay, what are the steps that I can take to move forward? How do I get out of my own way? And just trust yourself, because at the end of the day, no leader is going to care more about you than you. And you might find great mentors along the way and great leaders who guide you and support you. But it all starts with how you show up, how you want to be seen, what you want to be known for. If you say you're going to deliver something, you better deliver it when you say you're going to deliver it, or people won't trust you. So there's the aspects of what can I own, and then we will map out your roadmap and figure out how to stand out in the market. How do you navigate a setback? We've got horrible boss situations. We've got people who are being laid off in the thousands. How do we navigate that? How do we navigate the grief in that? And look at setbacks as opportunities to what could be potentially an incredible breakthrough. And obviously, there will be lots of really cool stories to share from my career and from some of the people that I will bring on, and truly a roadmap for you to take the wheel. And it'll be lots of fun. There'll be lots of twists and turns. And yeah, I look so forward to it.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too. And I love that you also just said that, no one's going to care about your career as much as you are. And here's the thing, even if you have a super supportive and super caring and amazing leader, you're right. And what that brought up for me, KL, is one of the rules of thumb that I learned many, 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 many years ago in one of my first coaching trainings, probably 21 years ago, but was that if you feel like you're working harder than the coaching client, you're not coaching anymore. And so we've adopted that when it comes to development. And I give this guidance a lot to the leaders that we work with other clients, that you don't want to be working harder on someone else's development than they are, because then you're trying to own their outcomes when they're responsible. And this is the same with parenting. Are you working harder on your kids fill in the blank than they are trying to get them? And so I think if we're expecting our organization, our HR department, our recruiter, our leader to be doing all the work and we just are sitting back, that's problematic, because it's kind of the flip side of that they should not be working harder on your next step, on your salary, on your growth, on your career path than you are. And I think so often we do take that back seat. And so I love that you're going right there, because here's the driver references, right? But it is getting back in the driver's seat, because I think so often we do find ourselves, and I've had people on my teams over the years be more in that back seat and wanting me to do all of the work for them. And it's like, okay, well, this is a partnership here. Like, I'm not going to work harder than you are. So
Yeah. I mean, look, you may not have all the answers, and that's precisely why I think the Career Bump podcast is going to be a wonderful resource for you. you are going to find lots of different resources over your career, whether that be a podcast, whether that be a LinkedIn post, whether that be a coach. I tend to see it as I invest in coaching myself. I hired 4 coaches last year, totally different for different reasons. It's way more fun to have a partner in crime and to have a passenger. I call myself your career roadie. It's way more fun to have a roadie next to you. I don't want to go on a road trip without someone next to me. And we're going to, sing and we're going to laugh and we're going to cry and we're going to, solve all the life's problems together. But it starts with you. And I think that's step one in anything. And, I'm here to serve as your career roadie and I can't wait. It's going to be filled with intentionality and leadership and everything I think that your podcast represents in showing up as a leader. And by the way, you don't have to be a leader to show up as a leader. It's just the leader in your life. And who knows where that takes you. And saying yes to every opportunity. And I'm thrilled and honored for you to share this incredible knowledge also on your platform. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So I love that you're going to be their career roadie. I know I'm going to learn stuff from you too, which is just awesome. And so I can't wait. And so for listeners, like you're getting a little taste. I think it's going to be a fabulous mix of stuff. I can just already tell there's going to be a lot of sparkle involved, which makes me super happy. Your episodes are going to drop once a month. They're going to drop, I believe, the 4th Wednesday of the month. So mark your calendars for yet another fabulous content partner, everybody. And, people can find you on LinkedIn. We're going to put in the show notes where your website is. Anything else that you want to leave people with today before your initial roadie episode drops?
Oh gosh, other than I have so much to bring and share and I can't wait to do it. I don't know how your audience reaches you, Rosie, but if there's anyone who wants to share a story or is facing a current roadblock and you're not sure how to navigate, could inspire a future episode, ping me on LinkedIn, ping Rosie. It would be wonderful to hear those. Just can't wait to see you on the road. It's going to be a magical experience. Lots of sparkle for sure and great knowledge. So thank you.
Yeah. All right, everyone, let's buckle up and be ready. Super, super jazzed. We're going to go on a fabulous road trip.
I'm Rosie Ward, and this is Show Up as a Leader. To learn more, head over to PeopleForwardNetwork.com and, of course, hit that follow button.